That didn't get that. Hello.
Are we live?
Yeah. Been live for a while.
How are we? How are you? Anything new you want to talk to us about, Sean?
No.
Want to show us your new shoes? What do you reckon?
Yay or nay? Blue suede, Nobles. It was my birthday, so I got a birthday present. Kate didn't wish me a happy birthday. Won't forget that.
So if you haven't wished Sean a happy birthday, just
Now's your chance.
stick it in the comments below. 29.
29, feeling fine.
29. As soon as 30 hits, man.
Yeah.
Life. Down the drain. All right, welcome to this week's Coffee and Coaches, where we will talk... Don't do it now. It's too late. You can't say happy birthday now. Where we talk about a couple of topics, maybe the week that has been. See what happens. But this week's couple of topics, we're going to talk on exercise and fat loss, and then also intermittent fasting or just skipping meals or whatever you want to
do.
Whatever you want to call it. You know, if you want to put a name on it, then you put a name on it. If you don't, you don't have to. But fasting, what do you reckon, Sean? What's your opinion?
It's a great tool. It can be a great tool to, if you're looking to lose fat and you don't really want to track calories or follow any strict regime, and you want to just skip breakfast. Like if breakfast is not your favorite meal of the day, then fantastic. It's a really great way to reduce your calorie intake in a really, really easy fashion. But I think where people get confused with fasting is they think it's like some magical hormonal trick to get your body into losing fat.
Yeah. Again, I think there's two sides of it. I think from a fat loss standpoint, it can work if you're shortening your window for your caloric intake, but I've sort of changed my opinion on fast. Fasting is something I used to use a lot with clients because it does work. You are shortening the window. But as time has gone, I think that restriction does tend to lead to overconsumption for a lot of people. I think if you just don't like breakfast, I think not forcing yourself to eat breakfast is a benefit. You can use that.
Yeah.
But I think if you do like breakfast and you do like eating more regularly, then that's what you would be better off going for instead of
100%.
trying to skip your meals and only eat between a specific time. And then there's fasting as well, where you eat the same amount of calories in that time. And then there's something called is it autophagy, which is like the, what's it called? Cleaning and cleansing of cells.
Dead cells.
But this is the thing from a health point of view. Like people think that when they fasting, they're going to sort of rejuvenate and there's all going to be this new health and these new cells. But you get the same thing happens, the same process happens within the body if you're just in a calorie deficit. So
or you have a good night's sleep.
Yeah, so fasting doesn't really do that. I think fasting is something if it suits you, but then people have massive fasts too. The common one is probably 16 and 8?
Yeah.
Where you fast for 16 hours, including your sleep, and then you eat for 8 hours, which can be beneficial. I've even worked it to some extent the other way. If people tend to overeat at night after dinner, you can cut it off, but it's up to you. I'm not for or against it. I'm against how it is sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like anything, like it's a tool. It can be a good tool for some people. It can be a not so great tool for other people. I think one of the biggest things people get, like why they massively believe in it so much, is say you skip breakfast, you skip that meal, and then you have people will tend to be that little bit hungrier come lunchtime, so they'll tend to have a bigger lunch and a bigger dinner because they feel like, they have sort of deprived themselves a little bit more. So you get people who fast often say, it's like, I'm eating so much more than I normally would anyway. But what we quite often see is that even though you may be having a slightly bigger lunch and a slightly bigger dinner, you generally don't end up consuming the same amount of calories as you would if you had breakfast as well. So there's no secret magical tool to fasting. It is just you are reducing your calorie intake by skipping meal or shortening your feeding window.
Yeah, and I suppose the body does sort of wake up when you start eating. That's digestion. That's how things work. So once you do start eating slightly in the morning, then you will become a little bit more hungry.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you have anything. I think there's different methods.
Triggers. Like if you always have breakfast in the morning, like you get up and you sit down at the table, you're naturally going to start to feel hungry because your body's going to start prepping for digestion. Whereas conversely, if you're not hungry, then yeah, you're not going to want to eat, so it's easy for you to skip.
I think some methods have been done. I think this was from Martin McDonald, but I've done it a few times with some bigger clients, some really overweight clients, where they do like a 36-hour fast at the beginning, and there's nothing magical about that whatsoever. It's just for them to understand that hunger passes, that hunger just doesn't stay around. You know, it will.
Yeah,
it will go,
it's
and
just a feeling.
Yeah, it's just a feeling. Like, you don't get hungrier and hungrier, and then it starts to break that relationship away from needing food. So it can be it can be quite. I'm not for nor against, but I'm against how it's sold. That would be the simple thing. Yeah, I've used it as a tool. I've used it myself as a tool. I used to think it used to work wonders. I used to love it for myself until I started eating again at normal times. Then I realized how shit my performance was when I was fasting. My performance was rubbish, and I felt I was just living off coffee. I was having like 2 or 3 coffees, which would then make me feel worse, start having anxiety attacks and stuff.
All right, moving on. Fasting, so yes and no. It depends. glad we cleared that up.
How good's nutrition, but how good's nutrition? And then best exercise for fat loss.
So the best exercise for fat loss is, what do you reckon, Kate? Dun, 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 dun. Come on, we're live.
Not eating.
Not eating. That's not really exercise, but you're not wrong. There is no best exercise for fat loss. It is whatever you enjoy doing. So if anyone has ever told you that, you know, like HIIT training is best for fat loss, full of shit. Long runs, best for fat loss, full of shit. It is whatever you enjoy. But as a whole, exercise isn't really important for fat loss at all.
No. I think people get confused with fat oxidation again and fat loss. Like, I think that's the confusing little bit of space, because you can have increased fat oxidation for periods of time, but not increased fat loss.
That's when you're using fat as the energy source for exercise.
Yeah, but not for fat loss. I like saying, I said it this morning to a client, like, exercise, building muscle, for example, is 100% exercise, right? 100%. Like, you can't build muscle without it.
Yeah.
Where, therefore...
It's a crucial part to it.
Yeah, losing fat would be 100% diet. Because you can't lose fat unless you're in an energy deficit. So you can exercise for... Like, look at the Iron Cowboy now. He's doing 100 Ironmans in 100 days. He won't be losing weight. He would be looking to maintain as much weight as he can.
Yeah.
He's exercising for like 16 hours a day. Do you know what I mean? Like, but not losing it. So the exercise portion of it is not important. As Sean said, probably one that you enjoy the most. But from an increase in body composition to make you actually look better, there probably is, you know, of course what you enjoy is good, but strength training is going to be more beneficial for body composition.
But can you not eat more because you're burning more calories?
Good question. People don't burn as much as what they think when they exercise. That's probably...
But I think if you're exercising and looking at how many calories you burnt, you're doing it wrong. Like, that's not the reasons why you would exercise. You know, I think that's a very negative way to exercise, because some sessions, like your watch is inaccurate. So one day you've worked your arse off, the other day you think it's a 6 session because you've burnt 200 less calories on your watch, which are like, I think the latest thing was like, I think back in the day it was like varies between like 3 and 47%, and now it's been shown to be like one watch was like 93% inaccurate to calorie burn, which is wild, right? You just guess it. Shit's just guessing.
I think, like, you know, we're doing this week on the Rebuild Health and Fitness podcast. We're doing a big Q&A session around anything and everything. But one of the questions that sort of popped into our inbox.
Wasting it already. You're wasting it already.
We'll go into it.
You're wasting it already.
But the girl asked, like, what is the healthiest diet to be on when just trying to shred up. So I clicked on this girl's profile, and she's already very, very lean. And I think, like, a lot of people go into any sort of, like, health transformation or body transformation from a place of, like, they need to deprive all the time. They think they need to take away. Whereas I think if people start to view themselves as athletes a little bit more and start striving for performance-based goals, it creates a healthier mindset. And by correlation, athletes tend to eat a little bit more nutritious, and they start seeing changes in their body that way. Like, if you're training for performance, you're going to prioritize your protein, sleep, hydration, all these kinds of things that can lead to your body changing in a really positive way, rather than just being like, I need to absolutely kill myself in the gym and then starve myself.
Yeah. Plus, we know a slight energy surplus is more beneficial for performance and muscle growth at the same time. So at least, if you are overeating slightly, it's going to be put to good use, through energy expenditure, maybe thermic effect of food. Like, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But I think, most people, when they come to you, they want to look better. And they just think fat loss, don't they? They're just so stuck on fat loss. And I'm very much against gyms that sell like their gym being, this is how you lose fat. Staying between these heart rates, it's like you're wasting time. You're clutching at straws that are not needed unless your diet is somewhat sorted out.
Yeah, well, you literally had a conversation with a lady this morning who wanted to come in and sign up to our gym because she thought it was the best place to lose fat, and you literally told her it's not.
Yeah, nowhere is though. It's not like we're not.
Yeah.
It's just like nowhere is, and I'm not going to lie to people. I tell you what, if the gym was the be all and end all for losing fat, then I wouldn't be sat here talking on this now. I'd be on my yacht. I'd be on my yacht counting my money. Do you know what I mean? It's a shame, but hopefully, if we can get more people to understand that the gym isn't the be all and end all for their fat loss, then the gym will always be a more empowering place. It'll be just a better place. People will be healthier, fitter, stronger, sexier, whatever you want to call it. Like it'll be a much better world, and then we can look after people's mindsets, behaviors, nutrition, habits away from the gym, and they can correlate together and make obviously a happy, healthy human being. Boom.
Anything else?
No. Tune into the podcast.
And if you have any questions for the podcast, put it in the comments.
Doesn't have to be nutrition. It can be anything. We're going hard hitting. Sean's favourite sex toy. Find out tomorrow.